Remember Nancy Besson?
I really regret the fact that I started this franchise.
Well, she was defranchised after sharing her Tammy Taylor nightmare with Checkpoint. But the president of Tammy Taylor Nails South Africa, who finally decided to break her silence, struggled to explain why when challenged by producer Tshegofatso Magolego.
On what grounds? The fact that she spoke to the media about her experiences?
That I can't tell you, that's legal department. Remember, I'm the president of the company. I'm not a lawyer. I am just the president of the company.
That was but one of many questions Melanie Viljoen found difficult to answer.
You didn't approve the lawyer's letters.
That's not what I'm saying. You are asking me trick questions.
This is Checkpoint, and I'm Nkepile Mabuse.
In our July expose of Tammy Taylor Nails South Africa, Checkpoint met Nancy Besson. She had bought 2 franchise licenses for 250,000 rand and set up shop in Johannesburg's East Rand.
I've been saving for my old age, so I've used my savings to buy it.
64-year-old Nancy, who bought the franchise for her daughter Bianca, says the promised support from head office did not materialize.
They will never pick up the phone and just ask how you're doing. Are you coping? Do you need stock?
This was contrary to what Checkpoint was told by CEO Beat Viljoen when we went undercover as potential investors.
My point is, I will be here every step of the way. I will open your cell and you literally just have to be there.
Katia Dyers, who worked as an executive assistant at Tammy Taylor Nails South Africa, saw the Checkpoint episode and decided to speak out.
I have experienced the pitch that Piet gives the franchisee when they are interested in buying a franchise license. As soon as he gets the quantity of money that he wants from them, there is no support.
Following Checkpoint's initial broadcast, our inbox was flooded with more unhappy franchise owners also wanting to share their experiences. Among them was 55-year-old Miranda Brits, who owned Tammy Taylor Lakefield in Benoni.
Obviously doing my homework on internet, looking at the product, looking at the actual lady, Tammy Taylor, and what she stands for and what she's saying, you know, it all sounded very good. It sounded like it's something this country needs, because we can bring something into the country that every lady can afford.
Brett says she and her husband used their pension payouts to buy the business, but she too experienced the same treatment Besson and others had complained to Checkpoint about.
The only time you will hear from them is when you do something wrong. You have a WhatsApp group with all your owners on it. The only one that's allowed to speak on the WhatsApp group is Mel Viljoen. We weren't allowed. We were told we're not allowed to speak on it.
According to Brett, this was the beginning of her nightmare. She says CEO Beat Viljoen's treatment of people was appalling.
It got to such a bad stage that when my daughter had to go and fetch stock, she literally got panic attacks. She had so much anxiety walking into that head office to go and pick up our stock. And she says to me, "Ma, I try and avoid Peter and Melanie. I don't want to talk to them because firstly, he will pull me in and tell me to tell this lady how much money I'm making. And then it's a lie." She says, "And I cannot lie to people."
Dyers says she suffered the same.
The way the employees were being spoken to by Piet himself, he had absolutely no respect in speaking to the employees. I experienced it as well firsthand. He would verbally abuse the employees.
She says head office had no systems in place to support franchisees or assist them with marketing.
It was their responsibility to market their own salon, to try and generate the clientele. And that took a big knock on them. Not only that, but then they also had to pay royalties to head office, regardless if they were making money or not.
I agree. If you have the resources, you had the backup of a company as big as they want to say Tammy Taylor is, then yes, anybody can make a success. But you never had that. You never had the backup. You never had resources. You had to do everything on your own.
Coming up, we wanted to interview the CEO of Tammy Taylor South Africa, Piet Viljoen, who tried to intimidate producer Tsegofatso Magolego in July. But he opted out, letting his wife and founder of the company here in South Africa take the heat.
We did not have the resources or the knowledge in the beginning to supply them with everything that we now know that they need.
Tammy Taylor head office refused to appear on Checkpoint for our initial broadcast. But after the show aired, we were contacted by Tammy Taylor Nails South Africa CEO Piet Viljoen, demanding that we give him an opportunity to give his version of events. A day before the scheduled interview, he cancelled. Weeks later, Tammy Taylor Nails South Africa invited us to head office for an on-camera interview. However, CEO Piet Viljoen wasn't there. His wife and president of the company, Melanie, spoke on their behalf. She says franchise owners who failed have themselves to blame.
All businesses are risks. This is not foolproof for everybody. If you have an inability to run your business, it's gonna fail. If you are not there the entire day driving your business, being the main character in your show, is gonna fail.
Viljoen admits that when the brand came to South Africa in 2016, she and her husband Piet were not equipped to support franchisees.
We have now industrial engineer putting systems in place for us. We have a regional success manager. We have a 5-star customer care manager. So I've listened to their concerns. We did not have the resources or the knowledge in the beginning to supply them with everything that we now know that they need.
The day after our broadcast, Tammy Taylor Nails South Africa released this statement accusing Checkpoint of sensationalism. They claimed to have invited old generation franchisees to sign new contracts that would allow them to receive the support allegedly given to new generation franchisees. But the old generation franchisees we spoke to said they hadn't received any such communication. In fact, Person was instead removed from all Tammy Taylor's social media accounts. She believes it's because she spoke to the media.
You know what, if you're being penalized for telling the truth, then I don't know. We were just stating the facts, no support whatsoever, and hence the reason for speaking out. I've asked them to sell the franchise. When we bought the franchise initially, they never called for financials. All of a sudden, they want financials. I told them, you can sell the franchise for the amount I bought. And they still refused to do that. So, the reason why we're here today, I just need to remind you, whatever I said on air initially, the truth and the truth shall prevail. It will prevail.
The press release also alleged that the brand was being tarnished by former franchisees who used unapproved products that aren't part of the Tammy Taylor brand.
There's a few places in our contract that says if you bring our brand in disrepute, remember, we have the best brand in the world. We cannot allow for people to take shortcuts. We're an international brand. We have rules. We have ethics. You have to build the Tammy Taylor nail, the Tammy Taylor way, with the Tammy Taylor liquid. Otherwise, your nails are not gonna last.
Melanie Viljoen accuses Nancy of using non-Tammy Taylor branded products, saying she hasn't been purchasing stock from head office. But this bank statement from Nancy shows that she purchased branded products from a former Tammy Taylor Nails franchise owner who was selling off extra merchandise. Viljoen is however adamant that Basson isn't using approved products and insists that her business isn't in trouble. She claims to have a video clip from one of Basson's nail technicians claiming that as a staff member, she's making Basson lots of money.
So I sent her an email saying, listen, you brought our brand into disrepute because they're making a lot of money. We have a clip of a nail tech telling us that she is making $25,000 minimum in a month. So that broke my heart because I was like, they still want to be a franchise, but they went on to Checkpoint to say that they're not getting support, they're unhappy, but hence they're making tons of money.
So you are going to believe the nail technician over what Nancy, your franchisee, is saying?
If Nancy would only come and talk to me.
But what's this clip about? Did she show you Nancy showing her financial statements?
No. So I would love to invite Nancy for business training.
Okay, but what I'm struggling to understand is that you yourself believe that Nancy is making that kind of money, but you don't have the evidence for it.
We do have the evidence.
Viljoen promised to send us the alleged video clip, but failed to do so. Basson now has to come to terms with the fact that the money she spent buying the franchise licenses is money down the drain.
How can you carry on with a brand that's not prepared to assist?
Tammy Taylor Nails South Africa is one of the main sponsors of the Mrs. South Africa pageant, which aims to empower women. Miranda Brett says she tried to contact the pageant to expose Tammy Taylor head office's business practices.
We were forced to do their nails on our expense. We never got reimbursed for it.
Mrs. South Africa's CEO, Johnny Johnson, declined to give Checkpoint an interview. She said she's unfamiliar with the complaints and can't comment on allegations made. Following our original broadcast, the National Consumer Commission received formal complaints about Tammy Taylor Nails South Africa. It has to table the grievances with an internal committee before launching a probe. Katia Dyers says her life was threatened and the staff at Tammy Taylor Nails South Africa worked in an atmosphere of fear.
He would have the audacity to actually threaten your life. Numerous times I would hear him tell me and tell other employees that he knows people and he's not somebody to be effed with. And he had that authority in him. So everybody that worked inside that office was female. He was the only male, so we were all scared to say anything or do anything that wasn't what he wanted.
Checkpoint got a taste of this during our initial investigation.
You, my friend, have bitten off more than you can chew. Let's see over the next years how this pan out. I will check in with you regularly. You are not the first corrupt person I have exposed. I have taken down the head of the Hawks, me. I will take you down also because you are corrupt.
I would definitely not advise anybody to buy a franchise from Tammy Taylor Nails South Africa. Definitely not.
Next.
I really didn't realize that they needed a different kind of business training, and that I have put into place. Impressed with this
In our interview with President of Tammy Taylor Nails South Africa, Melanie Viljoen, she rubbished claims that franchisees were made to do things they didn't agree with, like implementing discounts when they could hardly make ends meet.
No one is forced to do something and nobody is forced to not do something. But we did encourage people not to run discounts because we want to cater to the high LSM woman. A woman that don't necessarily need a discount, but she might get a free pedi or a free diamond because we now install diamonds in the nails as a gift.
Would you say they were lying if they said you guys instructed them and they were forced to do so?
Okay, so I think that's a generalization. We encourage people to do what they need to do their shop's marketing. Whether it be discount, whether it not be discount.
Because what I want to understand is that if I'm your franchisee and you encourage me to have a Mother's Day special and so is everyone else, if I don't want to do that, am I allowed that freedom not to do it?
Yes, you are allowed the freedom, and we just had this recently.
We asked what type of training she gave to franchisees that is obligatory according to the Consumer Protection Act. She told us she'd assumed all professionals have high business acumen.
We've never given them business training.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask.
Because all of them are chartered accountants that come in here. They're from mining. The people that we have coming in here to buy franchisees are people connected to government.
I think
these are
being
powerful.
Connected to government or working as an accountant, that doesn't mean you actually have that business acumen. The reason why most people come into the franchise industry is because they believe that you as the franchisor will be able to fill that gap and actually assist them in setting up the business. So I'd like for you to actually respond to that as to what type of business.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I realized too late that we assumed that these are business people from banking, from corporate, from all sorts of professional areas. And we assumed, you know, they're coming here telling us, we are head of marketing, we are head of F&B, I'm a head of Absa Bank, you know. And I really didn't realize that they needed a different kind of business training. And that I have put into place. It's called Franchising Plus. It's a business who looks after franchises, who shows them baby steps, how to market your business. That's what we are planning at the moment.
Viljoen says she visited Nancy Basson's store twice and did all she could to support her.
I have a big family to look after and everybody wants a little piece of me. But I'm willing to help Nancy if she comes to the table and say, Mel, this is my problem, this is my solution, let's work together.
Despite heading the company here in South Africa, Melanie says she was unaware that Nancy was struggling.
Even with the emails that she sent you that I want to sell my franchise because I'm not making money.
So remember, we have divisions in the company.
So your divisions are not communicating with each other?
We are.
At this point, her marketing manager interjected.
If I were to finish and then she give you a chance to ask the question. So now you're talking to each other because I'm not...
It's because I'm trying to understand the logic.
Yeah,
so if she's saying that she's never received...
She's going to answer everything, but don't ask the question.
It's because I want to get the logic behind it. If she's not... Yeah, if she doesn't know about Nancy's situation, then that means that wasn't communicated to her.
Yeah.
Hence why I'm saying that it means then that the division that she has doesn't communicate to each other.
Okay.
Yeah, so. True.
Basson says head office retaliated against her after she appeared on Checkpoint by telling her clients she was no longer with the brand.
I found out that we've been defranchised because of our interview with ETV. And we found out via one of our loyal clients. They've sent our loyal client a WhatsApp message stating that we've defranchised and we're also not using their products, and then they referred this client to 2 other franchises to go to.
You guys defranchised Nancy?
Our lawyer sent a letter to Nancy, and that is, again, that's not my division. It's the legal division. So if you want to have a meeting with our legal division to see the steps, what you are supposed to do, not supposed to do, sorry. So that is our legal division that handles people breaking contracts, where in the past, myself and Piet used to get involved personally.
So according to your knowledge, is Nancy defranchised?
Nancy sent, so I don't want to be answering for the legal department. I don't want to be answering for Nancy. That is something else. It's a whole different division on its own. But what I'm saying is, whatever is wrong, let Nancy come to me and say to me, Mel, I want to be a part of the business, or let's sell my business. Let's have a way forward to solve this problem. That's what I'm saying, you know?
So at this stage, you don't know if Nancy's defranchised or she's still part of the team, the brand?
I can't answer that for you.
So do you know
That's
or
legal.
do you not know?
That's legal department. I don't get involved with, it's legal department. Oh, so I remember a letter went out to Nancy saying that, listen, you went onto the ENCA and you lied about everything. So it brought the brand in disrepute. Therefore, this indicates that you might be defranchised. I'll have to read the letter and give it to you. Maybe you can just read through it. And that was sent to Nancy. But Nancy did not read her emails. So Nancy did not know about the letter. Hence, somebody sent me a WhatsApp saying, I want to book at Nancy's salon. I said, I'm not sure if she is a salon anymore.
On this screenshot, head office seemed to be stating a fact that Bason was no longer part of the brand. But Phil Yoon at first tried to pretend she knew nothing about this.
We received that screenshot. You as head office said Nancy was no longer a franchise and was no longer part of the brand.
Yeah, okay.
Was this from your side?
That was from me.
That was from you?
That was from me.
But how did you know that
because
she's
the lawyer's
defranchised?
letters, no. Okay,
but you just said that it's legal. You didn't know.
Legal.
But how sure were you that she's defranchised? If
Let me send you the lawyer's
audacity
letter.
to send that client that message to say that she's no longer part of the brand.
Honestly, if you...
She ended up admitting that head office has defranchised Bason, but struggled to give reasons why.
On what grounds? The fact that she spoke to the media about her experiences?
That I can't tell you. That's legal department. Remember, I'm the president of the company. I am not involved. I'm not a lawyer.
She hires people for that.
I hire people for legal. I hire people for marketing. I hire people for franchise division. I am just the president of the company.
But it just doesn't make sense for me.
I know.
Look, you are repetitively becoming like very emotionally abusive.
You didn't approve the lawyer's letters.
That's not what I'm saying. You are asking me trick questions. I'll send you the lawyer's letters.
So on the lawyer's letters, it does state that these are the grounds for her.
These are the grounds, everything.
By the time we completed this broadcast, she still hadn't sent the letter she claimed contained details why Bason was defranchised. Phil Yoon says those who feel wronged by her should reach out.
And I do want to help them. So please, guys, make contact with me and come and tell me your true, deepest feelings so that I can assist you. And good luck with the journey.